Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Spread in the News. Today is oh my gosh, Wednesday. That was weird. Sunday, March 19th, 2023. Thank you for joining us today. This is episode 38 of Spread the News. Crazy that we've gotten this far. We just passed our 1 year the other day. We had a little Twitter thread just the other day that I posted, kind of just thanking everyone that does listen to us for the support that we've had. So yeah, 1 year of spreading the news, kind of crazy to think about, but we're approaching the start of the season soon. So super stoked for that. We're here with Bryan and Danny. Bryan, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? Back in New York. How many, do we know exactly how many days until opening day? Anybody got that on them?
I think it's
10.
nine, not
10.
10. Thought it
Yesterday was
nine.
11 because I got the Brett Gardner meme, 11 days.
Yeah, I was telling you guys that spring training has gone on far too long. Of course, like that's how I feel at least. I want to get the season started.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's funny, Bryan? When you said that yesterday, I was thinking like we say that every single year that like spring is just too long. So
Yeah.
it's like an annual occurrence. We're here with Danny too. Danny, what's going on, buddy?
What up? Nothing much. I'm doing good. Brian is in Montauk right now. You didn't mention that. He's in Montauk in a freezing cold day. That can't be enjoyable. Brian, is it enjoyable at all?
I mean, I'm inside, so it's great.
What do you do
What do you
inside of
yeah, what do you
Montauk?
got in the itinerary?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I mean, maybe some coffee, maybe some dinner. Excited.
Coffee?
Yeah.
That's
What?
big.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, you may as well get us started because you had some things that you wanted to go out,
Of course, of course,
talking
of
with.
Wait
course.
a
March
minute.
Madness is in full effect, but that's not what we're here for.
If you're watching, Danny, compliment Danny on his new haircut.
No, too short. Too short. My guy, I didn't go to the normal guy. He fucked it up. I didn't go to the normal guy.
What'd you tell him? When he showed your face in the mirror, what'd you say? Did you say, "Oh, it looks great"? Or
Obviously,
or did you
I
say
can't. I can't say shit. And at that point, he cut it way too short. So what am I supposed to do? Like put hair back on me? Like you can't.
Yeah, but you could have been honest and be like, "Dude, like this is horrible." Like
Why would I do that? I'm never going back to him again. My normal guy was just booked up. I had to go to someone else. Anyway,
Yeah, go ahead.
the World Baseball Classic semifinals start tonight. Hopefully, people have been watching. It's been great baseball. Last night, the United States of America, huge win over Venezuela. Were you guys watching that?
Yes.
Down by two in the eighth inning. Bases loaded, 0-2 count. Trey Turner, absolute bomb. It was electric. The crowd was going crazy. The team was going crazy. WBC is fun as shit. Venezuela was really good. Hats off to them. Our boy, but now we get our boy Gleyber Torres back at spring. Looked like he needed. He didn't have a great World Baseball Classic, so get back to work, kid. Get back to work, kid. But yeah, awesome game tonight. We play Cuba to see if we can go to the championship. And it was awesome. Awesome game. It was electric moment. Electric moment all over Twitter. It was awesome.
I think Trey Turner was saying after the game that was the biggest hit of his career, and
Yeah.
he was just in the World Series.
Well, he's like notably not good in the playoffs. So like,
Yeah, but like he's notably an amazing player. So like he's had
Yeah.
like a lot of awesome career moments. So like to hear him say, especially after all the controversy over like the WBC recently on social media, like, oh, like it's not that important, or like, oh, it is super important. And like hearing that, like a lot of people who are in support of the WBC were like, oh yeah, like this, Trey was saying that like this is the biggest hit of his career. So like a lot of people kind of took that quote and ran with it.
he also wasn't just in the World Series. He hasn't been in the World Series since 2019, but
All right, well, you get the point.
yeah. But he's been in the World Series.
Well, that was his biggest hit of his career, he said. So that was super interesting to hear.
He said the game atmosphere was comparable to the World Series as well with the crowd. He said it's the loudest crowd he's ever been in front of. And he's won the World Series.
Do you believe that?
It sounds loud, man. It does sound really loud.
The Venezuelan fans sounded loud. I feel like it wasn't that loud for the United States. I don't know.
And the other day, the Mexico Puerto Rico game was loud as like really loud, like the other day in Miami. But the games have never sounded loud.
We had this conversation kind of before where it's like, as a country, those like Latino countries value it a lot more than America does, kind of just because it's baseball, but like it's more of like a patriotic thing. It's the close thing you have to the Olympics. So, and like to get all those fans in one place, I think it does make for like a really cool environment. I saw something that said like the Marlins could have the most unique fan base or one of the coolest fan bases in the league if they like tap into like that market and that community and they just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Also, the team sucks, but that would be kind of cool to see that environment with with those people all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, other countries still like care about baseball. America, it's kind of went down a little bit in the caring of baseball and the intensity of baseball among fans. That's why we're scrambling to find all these new ways to get casual fans. I mean, you see like these other countries coming to show out for their country. They're loud. They love baseball. Baseball is still a huge thing for them. And it's awesome to see. I don't know. Great.
Definitely stay tuned tonight. And even in potentially when would the championship be if USA makes it? Was it Tuesday? I think I saw Tuesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, I think I saw Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Last Yankee remaining, Kyle Higashioka. We'll see. I think he's still awaiting his first appearance here in the WBC, but
he caught an inning because we were up 12-1 against Canada. I know that, but.
So the Yankees are just awaiting one last member of the squad before they get rolling into the season. As we approach the end of spring training, we could talk about some of the storylines, which is what I want to talk about now. The starting rotation has not been good, and we've been saying throughout the entire offseason that this is the strongest part of our team, arguably the strongest rotation in baseball. Given that they've dealt with some injuries thus far with Rodon and with Frankie Montas, we're now down to Gerrit Cole, Nestor Cortez, Domingo Germán, Clark Schmidt, and Luis Severino. I want to talk through those guys from top to bottom, starting with Gerrit Cole. Obviously, we've seen a lot of great things from him up until today, actually. So it's right at the time of recording this. It's almost 3:00. Gerrit Cole's day just ended, and he gave up 4 earned runs in the 5th inning and a home run. So as Danny was saying to me before we started recording, it was just one of those classic 1-inning implosions by Gerrit Cole. So we haven't actually been able to even watch Gerrit Cole because I feel like his starts haven't been aired on TV at all. So I guess Gerrit Cole's ERA now, as I'm looking at it, is 3.94. Before we started recording, before that implosion inning, it was like in the 1. So what do you guys expect from Cole? Like, I guess, what have you seen from him? Not even what have you seen from him, but like what are the numbers of Cole tell you about what's coming up in the season?
I think it's hard to like judge spring training because a lot of people say it's just pitchers like tinkering with new stuff, and like that's kind of an argument that people make when pitchers aren't good in the spring. I mean, Cole has been like pretty consistent over his Yankee career. Like, I think we know what we can expect from him, like high strikeout numbers, ERA in the mid to low 3s. And I think that's what we're going to get again. I don't know. I don't think anything's going to change with that this year. We know that often he will have those starts where he goes out and it seems like he can't keep the ball in the ballpark, and it's a quick outing for him. And I think he needs to have those good strings longer and more than those like occasional bad starts, because that was what we talked about all year with him last year. It was like you never know which Cole you're going to get, but if he can stay consistent, he's been consistent over the years, but game to game you didn't know what you're going to get. So really, if he can stay consistent like start by start, I think we'll be fine. And he's also again going to have to play another like an even bigger role now that all these guys have gone down. We were really confident about the rotation as a whole, and now I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally not. Mm-hmm. So we got to really rely on Cole more than we thought we were going to.
Well, I don't want to say I'm not confident in the rotation, but it's tough when you have these injuries. Once Rodon is back, then I feel like I'll be very confident in this rotation. I just hope Rodon is back quick. Like, I hope it doesn't take longer than we expect. Like, we always think the Yankees underestimate how long an injury actually takes. When they say April, it might be July. Hopefully that isn't the case, and hopefully we could get him back in April. And we've said it time and time again, the Yankees don't really care about April anyway. They kind of use it as an extended spring training. So as long as Rodon can be back before May, then I consider me confident in the rotation. And as for Gerrit Cole, I'm not worried. Spring training doesn't mean a whole lot, but again, I think the start before that, he went 4 2/3 with 3 earned runs or something like that last week. So he's going to give up runs. Obviously, every pitcher's going to give up runs, but these 1-inning implosions, like that kind of makes me nervous because it's literally the same as last year. He'll look like an ace. 6 out of 7 innings he pitches, 5 out of 6 innings he pitches. but then he'll give up 4 runs in the 5th inning or something like that. And that kind of is what we should eliminate. And then the Yankees lose like 5-3. Like, when you're our ace, you can't be having these 1-inning implosions. And it seems like it happens a decent amount. But Gerrit Cole is our ace. I'm going to stick by my ace. And I'm confident with him heading into the season.
Moving down the totem pole, we get to Nestor Cortez, who's our number 2 starter. I guess you could pencil him in while Rodon's out. Yesterday, he had his first start. He had 3 in the 3rd inning. He gave up 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Obviously, his first start back in spring training from his hamstring injury. Does that start worry you guys at all, or are you not really putting any stock into that?
Definitely not ideal, but no, I'm not really worried about Nestor. Again, I think it's been 2 years now where you're almost expecting him to be bad, but he just hasn't been. And I still expect more good from Nestor. He came off an injury, whatever. It was his first start of the spring. Those hitters are way further along than he was. I'm not worried about him. He's got to get back, on the right track. And once he's back in pitching every 5th day, I think he'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. He's been hurt. It was his first start of spring training. He's still working through the kinks. He's a little rusty. First start of spring training, it means absolutely nothing to me. Absolutely nothing.
I'm not too worried about him either. So hopefully, things can go smoothly coming into the season.
Next guy I think you're going to talk about, though.
Yeah, Bryan gave the large sample size from Nestor. So, 2 straight years of him being good now. So until he gives me a reason to be worried, I'm not going to be worried. Moving down next to Luis Severino. Now, this is an interesting one.
I think the alarm's got to be going off here on Severino.
Yeah. Bryan is a notorious Severino hater.
I'm not a Severino hater. I think he can stay healthy, and this is, I have him right in front of me. He's pitched 4 games, got a 10.64 ERA. Not what you want. I don't know.
So
he's been horrible in spring training. I don't know. Do I expect that to continue? I don't know if he's going to be that bad, but
Severino was saying that he's not worried. He was asked after the game yesterday, or not yesterday, but the last time he pitched, he was saying that he's not personally worried. He said he's been experimenting with a lot of his pitches, and he feels like his pitches aren't completely there yet. So, I don't want to be worried yet. I don't like to put too much stock into spring training pitching, but obviously 4 games, and he's been pretty bad in all 4 starts, which is a bit concerning. But what do you think, Danny? What do you have to say about Severino?
That quote is a bit concerning. He said his pitches aren't all there yet, and literally he pitched the other day. We're less than 2 weeks away from opening day, so get them there. This is when your pitches should start. Be getting with 2 weeks left in spring training, then you should be ready. You should be ready 2.5 weeks away from the season. You should be ready. And you're just kind of going through the motions at that point. So him saying his pitches aren't quite there yet, that kind of worries me because, we have a week less, a little bit more than a week. So freaking get your pitches there. You're probably going to be starting the 2nd game of the year if Boone sticks with Nestor starting the 5th game of the year. So if Severino is pitching on day 2, his pitchers better be ready. That concerns me. These should just be your last couple starts before the regular season where you just throw in your pitches are fine, you feel fine, and really the regular season could start, but you got to pitch another time in spring. You're just kind of getting your arm loose. That does worry me a little bit, and he has looked horrible. 11 innings, and he hasn't seemed to be able to get out of any. It seems like he's always. But yeah, no, it definitely worries me a little bit. But I do love Sevy, and I think that he will pull through and be a really good starter for us. But get your pitches there. That's not something you should be saying less than 2 weeks away from opening day. You know what I mean?
I think while Rodon's out, I think he's going to be the most important guy in our rotation. We have to be able to count on him during this time. Who knows how long it's going to be? We both, or 3 of us agreed we're confident in Cole and Nestor. Again, Herman and Clark are, who knows? But Sevy's got to be a consistent guy for us over this time. It has to be, or else, they might win 5 games this month, and then the not so important month is the reason we don't make the playoffs or don't win the division. So who knows?
If I'm not mistaken, I think that this is a contract year for Severino. So this is a super important year for him, not only just for the Yankees, but for him. So obviously, like Danny said, like you said, Bryan, he's got to get his act together a little bit here because just for his own sake, this is a super important year for him. So have to imagine that he'll have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder to, get paid in the offseason, but have to imagine that he'll have some added motivation this year. Moving on to Domingo Germán, who I guess you can pencil in as our 4th overall starter. He actually was having a pretty solid spring up until 2 days ago, where he gave up 7 earned runs in that start 2 days ago. So he had 3 combined runs through three of his first starts, and then he gave up 7. So now he's up to 10, obviously. He's got an ERA for the spring at 8.71 in 10 and a third inning. So what about Domingo Germán? Danny, I know you're a big Domingo Germán guy, so we'll start with you.
Hey, on the baseball field, that makes me sound like on the baseball field. I like to make Germán.
Okay, preface that on the field. What do you see from Germán?
Well, like you said in the start, like he was kind of looking good. The other day was, and also like these games aren't televised, which I hate. Like why aren't the Yankees televising these games, home games especially?
A
So
lot
really,
of them.
I can't actually like look and see what these guys actually look like just based on numbers and a box score. But I don't know, because I don't think we could say we're nervous about either one of these next two guys, and Schmidt or Germán, because this is kind of what we mean by the extended spring training. This April is extended spring training almost for Germán and Schmidt, because they're competing for that 5th starter role when Rodon comes back. So I really honestly don't know what to say much about Germán. I'm confident with it in what we saw last year. I'm confident in Germán being there. I want Germán to be our 5. I've wanted him to be our 5 since coming into spring training. But he's got to go out and show that he is worthy of being our 5th starter and not relegated to a bullpen role or even off the team, because he is out of options. He did say a little while ago that he considered himself the favorite over Clark Schmidt, so he's got a little confidence there. I love a little confidence, so hopefully he can show that on the mound and win the job. I'm rooting, because I like Clark out of the bullpen, so I'm rooting for Domingo to win the 5th starter job, so we have Clark out of the bullpen, basically.
Bryan, what do you kind of agree there about Germán? I know you kind of talked about him a little bit like a minute ago, but
Yeah, I agree with Danny. It does suck not being able to actually watch these guys and see what's going wrong. Again, most teams do televise. I don't know what the Yankees' problem is. I mean, also these guys can't afford to televise games. They can't afford for in-flight Wi-Fi. They can't afford the new facilities, because apparently they got to get the new facilities because they're behind the facilities. So I mean, I don't know what their problem is, but again, yeah, Domingo has been, as much as we like to make fun of him last year, besides Danny, who was right, like he was solid last year. I mean, he had 3.61, did kind of what he was asked to do. I didn't feel totally at a disadvantage with him on the mound. So I would also consider him the favorite to win the 5th starter spot over Clark. And yeah, I mean, if we can get that from him, anything sub 4 will be fine for for an extended period of time. I'm just excited to see what he actually does when the games count. Because he did start hot, like you guys said. So who knows? That one implosion, we just got to see what happens, really.
I mean, and last year, like his ERA, it sounds, I mean, 3.61 is really good, but it's almost inflated, which is weird to say with a good ERA, because the first start was against Houston coming off the 60-day IL, first start of the year, and he got lit up. So that I could kind of take away. I don't beat him up about that. The best team in baseball, first game of the season in July.
in Houston.
And then the last start of the season, he let up 4 innings in Texas. So kind of like all in the middle there, he was almost pitching like a 3-star. Like he was looking really good in the middle of that first and last start. The bookend starts weren't great, but in the middle, like he went toe to toe with Max Scherzer. I remember against the Mets, like he won us great games. Remember the game in Oakland where he went like 7 innings or whatever it was?
He had a bunch of great starts. So, I mean, just want to see more of that.
Yeah, hopefully 7 2/3 he went in Oakland. I'm actually looking at it right here. 7 2/3. That was an awesome game. I remember everybody was like so happy for him coming off the field. Like everybody was kind of clapping for him, the team in the dugout. But hopefully, like he showed he could be really good. So hopefully he continues that. I wish we used him more in the playoffs. We didn't. We could have used him maybe in the playoffs. So
I look at Germán as almost kind of like a luxury, because he's kind of one of those guys who's in and out of the rotation, and if something goes wrong, then he can just plug in and he can give you solid numbers. Like you said, Danny, we've seen him kind of be like a 3 or 4 kind of material type starter. So him plugging in as the 5th starter, I'm more than okay with. But right now he's not the 5th starter, because right now the 5th starter is probably going to be Clark Schmidt with Carlos Rodon going down, and Clark Schmidt's kind of had an up and down spring. He's been a lot better as of late. Again, like we can't really watch these games, but does anything stand out to you guys in the box score from Schmidt coming into the season? What do you kind of expect for him, really becoming the starter? Because he came up in the minor leagues as a starter, and now then the Yankees use him as a reliever. always a question whether he's going to be a starter or not. Now he has the chance. So what do you guys think about that?
I mean,
He's got a 4.63 ERA this spring, 4 games. So that's whatever. I think the biggest thing about Clark is his stuff is good. I'm looking at it right now, at his baseball savant from last year in the big leagues. Nothing is overly impressive or overly concerning besides his curve spin, 94th percentile in the whole league, fastball spin 93rd. So like he has that spin that you want, and you can do a lot with. I mean, we know his curve is really good. I think his curve is like one of the better curves in baseball. I mean, you see the spin is at the top of what it is. So he's got to use that to his advantage. I think the longer Clark goes, like the less good I feel about him, because I feel like he was supposed to be so good years ago. And like with each passing year, it's like, okay, he's not there yet. He's not there yet. So if he can take a big jump this year, I mean, he's going to get his chance, like we just said. So if he does really well with it, sure. But if he doesn't, I think, I don't know. I don't know what you guys expect from him if he's going to do really well. I feel like he's just going to be,
He's gonna be. I think he's gonna be like meh. Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think, Danny?
what stands out to me from this spring so far is that he wants to be a starter. He's been good in his starts and not so good in his relief appearance. His last start, he went 5 innings, 7 strikeouts, 0 runs, 0 walks. He had a freaking great game. I think he was perfect other than a Rizzo error. I forget what inning that happened in. It could have been even after he was pitching, but I think it was when he was pitching. And the thing about me, I know Clark has a really good slider. Like, he throws his slider to righties. I was kind of looking at his splits the other day, and he needs to figure his shit out against lefties. So I'm looking at his righty versus lefty numbers. It's not the best. So if he can figure that out, he's got to learn how to throw his best pitch out of the bullpen. You know, that's what they love to do with guys out of the bullpen. You know, Yankees just say, throw your freaking best pitch. And I think that's what he's got to do more. I think he shies away from it. I think it's his slider. He shies away from it more against lefties. I don't know why. He's scared that a lefty's going to yank it. I don't know. But it seems like he kind of shies away from his best pitch when lefties are at the plate. And it shows in his numbers. It does show. So I think he's got to be more confident. If he's going to be, because when you're a starter, like when you're a reliever, yeah, you could come in against righties, whatever, do that job. But if you're going to be a starter, you got to work well against both sides of the plate. So I hope he can figure that out. And like I said, I like him out of the bullpen because he does have a couple of really good pitches. So, and that's very useful out of the bullpen. We used him in a lot of high leverage situations as well. And he was a little shaky in them, but he also saved us a couple times. So I don't know. I am giving the edge to Herman because I like Clark out of the bullpen. But if Schmidt comes out and dominates as a starter, then by all means, go be our 5th starter. Great. That would be awesome if we could have you be good as a 5th starter.
Before we move on, going into opening day, Yankees rotation, what is your confidence level kind of out of 10 with Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, Luis Severino, Domingo Herman, and Clark Schmidt? What is your confidence level?
And he dominated righties. He dominated righties and was bad against lefties. Just like I didn't really take in the stats, but it really is like a huge difference. All right, but Brian,
I'm just saying a 5. It's like a coin flip. Other than Nestor and Cole, those last 3 guys could go out there and shit the bed, for lack of a better phrase. So I'm not too confident I think Rodon was really the piece that really made me excited. And now that he's gone, and the way Severino's looked, I don't know. Other than the first 2, like I said, I don't really understand how you could be too confident.
Danny, what's your confidence level 1 to 10?
and you're saying like opening day April, like before Rodon?
Yeah, before Rodon comes back, what's your confidence level?
I guess like a 6. I think a little higher than 5, maybe even 6.5. Because I do think we got some dudes. Like we know those top 3 are good, and we've seen flashes of being good from the last 2. So I don't think I'll go at a 5. I'd say like 6.5, 7 even. Like I still think the guys are good. I just don't know if I don't think we have the depth though. So if one of these guys go down, we're screwed.
Exactly, which is almost inevitable with these guys.
I think one thing, I don't even think that I'm not confident in the rotation per se. I think it's because like in April and May, like obviously everyone's kind of motor is like on a short leash. They don't really go long into games like they do in the middle of the summer. So like what I'm more worried about is, like these guys coming out in the 4th inning or the 5th inning and then handing it over to the bullpen, and the bullpen who's already down like a bunch of guys, taking care of the rest of the game. That's what I'm worried about. Because they're already down Canely. They're already down Schmidt because, he should be in the bullpen. They're down Trevino. They're down. You can even argue that Herman could have been a bullpen guy for us. They lost Chad Green. They lost Miguel Castro. They lost Licky. They lost Chapman, even though Chapman's not even really a loss. But, the bullpen is a little. I think that's going to be more of something to watch in the early season than the rotation is going to be. That's kind of just my opinion.
That's a good point. And of the 5 we have starting the year, how many of those guys can you expect to go 6 or 7 innings? I think just Cole consistently.
Just Cole.
Yeah,
That's my
Cole.
yeah. So that's going to be something to watch. Not expecting much on that front. But moving on into, nicer things, DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu has, really been good this spring, like really, really good this spring. Looking a lot like the DJ LeMahieu MVP candidate from a couple years ago. We've always said that DJ is the catalyst for this lineup, right? So like the Yankees don't have a leadoff hitter. At least when DJ is not healthy, they don't have a leadoff hitter because, Bader is not ideal. Judge is not ideal. Rizzo is not ideal. So DJ can, do what he's doing in spring, be our leadoff guy, be really nice. What have you guys seen from DJ in the limited, watching hours that we have because nothing's televised?
I'm pumped. He looks like old DJ again. I've been saying that, like you said, the catalyst. Like I think he's the key to the entire season. I think that's what we were missing last year. You need a guy like that, and DJ's been that guy since he's been a Yankee. And right here, he's 25 of spring at bats. He's hitting 400. He's got a homer, 3 RBIs, OPS over 1,000. That looks like the old DJ. And if we can get that DJ, then I feel so much better about the season. I'm not. Again, we're talking about spring training, so I don't know what we're gonna get, but I feel really good with him looking like this. I mean, that's probably my favorite part of this spring because I think he's so important to them. I know like Volpe Peraza is awesome too, but I think DJ is really, really the most important thing to this team. So, and DJ being good.
Yeah, I mean, more importantly than the numbers. I know the numbers are great, but like we say, spring training numbers fluctuate either way. Like one out, he could be hitting 350 instead of 400, whatever. More importantly, he looks healthy. Like that's what's really important. Like we know this whole surgery fiasco this offseason, he decided to go without the surgery, and we kind of were worried about that, like if it would linger on, but he looks healthy. And from what we've heard on Twitter on the games we can't watch, he seems healthy. He's looking good at the plate, which is awesome. And I mean, we're going to talk about later. I don't know if DJ is our leadoff hitter. I kind of like him in the 5 hole and the 6 hole, getting him in an RBI spot because maybe someone else is now our new leadoff hitter. We'll get to that later. That's a little, what do you call that? Foreshadowing. But DJ's look great, and he is a really big part of the lineup. And I'm excited that he's healthy, and I need him in the opening day lineup. If he's not in the opening day lineup and Josh Donaldson is over him, I will not be the happiest because Josh Donaldson, we said we want to talk about a little bit of play. Josh Donaldson looks horrible. He's hitting a nice 185 so far.
Did you guys see the
179? It's down to 179 now.
It's down to 170. It is down to 179. It is down to 179.
Did you guys
saw
see
Brian Hoke tweeted? Yeah, you go ahead, Brian, since you were bringing it up.
I mean, I laughed like out loud reading this. I'm trying to find it. Says Josh Donaldson just lost his bat on a strikeout. He's hitting 182 this spring. Again, I mentioned this maybe a couple episodes ago. Hoke is hilarious when he like subtly says stuff like that because he knows the fan base is going to go nuts over it. But yeah, I mean, this guy's throwing his bat in the stands. I mean, I don't really feel too good about that.
But hey, I mean, one thing that's good about this situation is that they have other options beyond Donaldson. Will they go to the options early? I don't know. It might take a couple months for them to actually look in the mirror and make a move with Donaldson, because if Donaldson's hitting 200 with, a 600 OPS come mid-June, early June, will the Yankees have the guts to look themselves in the mirror and say, like, okay, like we need to, get him off the roster? I don't know. So.
I've been saying that. I've been saying this forever. Yes. I think because, like, realistically, they do think Donaldson somewhere in there might have some of his success because he's only 2 years removed from a good season. So but I do think because of how bad last year was, May, June, if he's bad, he's gone. And our new third baseman is the boy Andres Chase.
Yeah, imagine that.
That would be awesome. But no, I do really think I've been saying this all off season. I'm a big believer in that. If he's bad, May, June, maybe early July, but
The
that's
old
pushing
force
it a little bit.
retire.
I think
Give him
he's
the
fine.
A-Rod treatment.
A-Rod treatment, no, but do it more no, never mind. A-Rod's was disrespectful, but no, yeah, but they're gonna get rid of him. They will. They'll DFA him. Maybe they'll find some load off. I don't know, but he won't be on the team in July if he's hitting 100 or 200, whatever. He won't be.
Hopefully not. Has anyone else in spring training kind of caught your guys' eye on the
Besides Andre
All-Star?
Chaparro?
Chaparro.
No, Oswaldo Cabrera. Not even because of his bat. I mean, he is having a nice spring at the plate as well. But dude's playing everywhere. Dude, he's playing everywhere.
He has played everywhere. Literally, he has
played everywhere. Yes,
except for catcher.
Knowing him, he'll probably suit up right now if we needed him to catch. But it like that's awesome. Like that, it's like he's played first, second, short, third, every outfield spot. Him trying to play center now. I love that from him. I mean, we know he's just an electric factory. And the fact that he's just willing to play everywhere, he's begging to play center field. I love it, and I'm excited for him this season. I'm excited for what he could be, because I love his switch hitting bat, but also I love his defense even more. And I can't wait to see how they use him, especially with the injuries to Bader and stuff. I can't wait to see how they use him come the regular season. Cannot wait.
I'm excited for Cabrera, and I hope he gets at bats because I think like what he's shown in spring, like I think he's looked pretty good. Switch hitter is obviously always a huge luxury because the Yankees have a very right-handed heavy lineup. Cabrera is hitting 270, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs with an 827 OPS through 37 at-bats. And like Danny said, he's played literally every single position. So I'm really looking forward to Cabrera this year. I wasn't really, he wasn't on my radar personally like 1-2 weeks ago, but like now like he's literally played every position and he's succeeding. I think you're going to see a lot of Oswaldo Cabrera this year. I saw someone on the Talking Yank show call into the show and say that they had Cabrera, if he's getting consistent at bats, becoming an all-star this year.
Wow.
What do you guys think about that?
I don't see a world where that happens. I hope so. It'd be great. I love Oswaldo. I think he's the most fun player on the team. It'd be great if he's an all-star. I just don't think that's going to happen. But even if he plays consistently and gives us something, that's fine. I mean, what's the other option? Hicks, who's lost in the outfield? Like,
I mean, dude, Hicks actually looks like the way that he's been looking in the field. He looks like if you took a little leaguer and put them on a major league field.
Yeah.
He looks so beyond lost. Is it mental? Do you guys think it's like a mental thing?
I think now it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. But he's looking. I mean, he's had a good spring at the plate. So usually mental stuff we've seen with Glaber carry over to the plate. But I don't want to say nice spring because he really hasn't hit for any power, but that's kind of what his new swing is. We always used to call him 700% swing for the fences, but his new swing is kind of getting more contact, base hits, and you kind of seen that he's hitting 290. But
it only took him 3 full seasons to change something. So
yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, he looks lost in the outfield. Today he was playing center field. I saw a highlight of him making a good catch.
That's the problem, though. We know he's not going to hit enough to like DH, so he's got to provide something in the outfield if he wants consistent playing time, which we know he does.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his plan is because it's just so strange because you don't usually lose fielding like this because he was such a good fielder in his prime. Like there was not many center fielders better than Aaron Hicks or outfielders in general. And now again, like Chase said, like this guy looks like he has no idea what he's doing on every fly ball. So.
He's another guy that I think will be off the team if he plays bad because, like we've mentioned in the past, if he's still on the team August 7th or 8th, we can't trade him. So if he's bad, like we can't just have this guy. You know what I mean? Can't just have this guy.
Yeah, there would be no point. Like I'd rather them just like if they want a sure glove in the outfield, I'd rather them just sign Brett Gardner because I'm sure Brett Gardner could do what Hicks is doing to a minimum, you know what I mean? So like I don't know. It's that situation. A lot of weird situations this year. Donaldson, Hicks, IKF even, like we saw him in center field the other day. Like
that is bizarre. And no, I saw there was a play at the plate. And he came up throwing and it looked like a lollipop. It was on Twitter. It was a bad angle, but it kind of looked like a lollipop throw. And I'm like, oh, maybe he could actually reach home plate. It made it to the cutoff man, and it was a lollipop throw to the cutoff man. It looked like it had no power on it at all, and we know about how bad his arm is. It would be like the worst arm in center field. Can't have that in center. I don't think they actually will play him in center.
There's no way.
There's
no
no
way.
way. No way. But yeah, just looking at him, no way. And he took the Hicks drop fly ball where he called off Volpe, which was one of the worst plays I've ever seen. He kind of did like a tumble. You see, IKF took full responsibility for that.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was lined up in the wrong spot, and it should have been his ball, even though it should have been Volpe's ball because he was camped underneath it. But it's just Dumb and Dumber out there. I think Chase, you said that it's just Dumb and Dumber out there, and left and center if Hicks and IKF are out there. Just
imagine that.
That would be
wow.
That would be horrible. That's worse than IKF and Donaldson on the infield. Maybe.
I couldn't imagine a scenario where that is.
It won't. It won't. There's no way.
They can't be out there together. That's a nightmare.
There's no way.
Speaking of center field, while we're on the topic, I guess I could just give a little rundown of injury-related news. Harrison Bader is apparently doing better than expected, so that's good to hear, according to Aaron Boone. Canely, unable to throw as expected. Sore biceps is what Brian Hoke called it. Carlos Rodon feeling good after throwing on the 17th, and Jose Trevino, who is another kind of injury that went under the radar with a wrist injury, is scheduled to catch on the 21st and on the 23rd. So those are the latest injury updates to this point. Hopefully the Yankees will not be employing IKF in center field. Hopefully by that point, hopefully by the time it gets to that point where they need to, Bader will be back. So, but speaking of IKF and the infield, lot of things going on in the infield. A lot of things going on.
Woo!
Anthony Volpe is becoming a weekly segment on this podcast. So, I think everyone kind of knows at this point that Volpe's got he's got a chance. Like he really does have I was saying to Danny before we started recording, Brian, you weren't in the chat yet, but I was saying that I think Volpe has more of a chance of making the roster now than he does of being sent down. What do you think about that? Do you disagree or do you agree?
He's our shortstop. Like I told you, he is our shortstop right now. He's our shortstop.
I think it's really close. Hal's comments about it were not promising the last time we heard it.
Boone's were though.
What?
Boone's were.
Yeah, and we know about Judge. No, so I do feel a lot better about it than I did. I'll say that. Like I think last week I said like I still don't see him making the team. But as it goes on, how can you leave him off again? Like that's all I can say. Like, how can you leave him off? So I hope that he makes a team. Like gun to my head right now, I'm gonna say yes. Actually,
wow.
Yeah, no, I think I'm more confident in it than you guys are right now, and I've been completely the other way. Like I feel like you guys have always been the optimistic ones about it, and I've been like no. But my view has changed drastically. We always say a lot could change in a week of spring training. I think he is our shortstop based on what we've seen, based on what we've heard from Boone. Like, yeah, he's got a real shot. Boone doesn't just say that. Boone just doesn't throw that around. Like, oh yeah, he's got a shot.
He's also a pathological liar.
Yeah, I mean,
that is also true.
Are we forgetting about Boone's Yankee tenure of just lying to us?
Yeah, but that's true. But it's just the way they've kind of deployed their positions as of late. Like the other day, Peraza and Volpe played together, and usually they would alternate short every other day, whatever. But if they play together, it was always Peraza at short, Volpe at second, because I think they were really trying to push Peraza playing short. But the other day, it was Volpe at short, Peraza at second, and I think that's very telling of what they think right now. I think they think that Volpe really is the shortstop or is playing his way to be the shortstop, so they're getting him reps at short and putting Peraza at second, moving him around more than they're moving Volpe around. Then the next day, Volpe played short again. Back-to-back days of short. I don't think we've seen that from Volpe yet this spring. So I think these last week really telling. I really think they think Volpe's the shortstop as of right now. A lot could change again. There's still 10 days left. A lot could change. I've been I want Peraza to be it, but I'll be very happy with Volpe because I think he's won the job. And I think the Yankees know he won the job. I'm very confident about that. I really think so.
Danny, you kind of stole my thunder. I was gonna bring up that point about Volpe playing short and Peraza playing second in that game, and then Volpe playing again at short the next day. Yeah. I think that's a really, really telling, like you said, kind of situation. And I think, like I do think right now, I think it's like a 55-45 kind of in favor of Volpe making the opening day roster at short, starting on opening day. It's like the fact that like we're even at this point of like where we're questioning. If you asked us like 3 weeks ago, like does Anthony Volpe have a chance of making the roster? We all would have said no. We
Just the
all would have
first
said there was
episode
no
we
chance.
did together, like before Brian was here, we brought that up and we both said hell no. Like he's
I
not.
asked you, I said, is there any scenario? And you said no. And I
I
agreed
said
with
no.
you. I agreed
Yeah.
with you. And now here we are, 3, 4 weeks later. Season's a little over a week and change away. And
Well,
I mean, he's earned it so far. Well, go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say that we knew going into spring that he would have to have like an unbelievable spring to have the chance, and that's what he did. So, I mean, that's all. I didn't expect him to do what he's been doing. So,
If that does happen, I see a lot of debate on Twitter over DJ being the leadoff hitter, Volpe being the leadoff hitter. I see a lot of people
Volpe,
like
baby.
DJ in the 5 spot. I'd like to see a lot of people like Volpe in the 5 spot. What do you guys think about that? What would you rather have, DJ leading off or Volpe
Hey,
leading off?
this
I
is what I
like Volpe.
foreshadowed before. I want Volpe leading off.
I do. I like Volpe leading off, DJ fifth. I think that makes like when they trot out these spring lineups and it's like, I don't know, say it's DJ, Judge, Rizzo, and then it's like Donaldson and the rest, and it's
Yeah,
like
that's
we
what I.
can't
Yeah,
have that. Like we can't
that's
have
what I
that.
was
Like
gonna say.
you need a stronger 1 through 5. Like it can't be such a quick drop off. That the 1 through 5 would be really good with that.
Yeah,
But
no, that's what I was gonna mention. Like Volpe has shown he has the tools to be a leadoff. He's got the speed. He's got the contact. He runs. He looks what he looks great at in the leadoff spot, and that's kind of really all they put him. So like, yeah, and DJ kind of has probably more power a little bit. DJ has more experience. He's good in RBI situations. DJ's been clutch for us.
that's the
So
thing though. We
having him
know
in that
there's
5 hole with guys on base and
yeah.
love it with guys on base, and then you get to your Aaron Hickses and your Jose Trivinos that can't hit a lick. But that 1 through 5 is when we're scoring.
Yeah. Healthy DJ, there's no one better at driving guys in with, runners in scoring position than DJ LeMahieu when healthy. So, him in the 5 spot, I think could really boost the lineup.
I want to ask you guys this now. If Volpe does lead off on opening day, is that too much pressure for someone like him? Or do you don't think
No, I think that gives him confidence.
I
21
think he
years
would
old.
love it.
Yeah, because coming into this spring training, that everybody was saying no shot, no shot. I think this would give him confidence. Like, yeah, dude, I just did that. I won the job, the shortstop job for the New York Yankees. I did that.
Yeah, and I think in his mind, he already feels like he deserves it and wants it. Like if we had him on and we were like, Anthony, do you want to lead off opening day? He's gonna be like, fuck yeah, like immediately.
Well, nobody's gonna say no, but
If he was Glaber would be like, I don't know.
yeah, would be like,
imagine that?
but
Glaber does have some leadoff under his belt. You never know.
But hey, we mentioned before, Chase, you're talking about it affecting confidence. I have said this before. If we send him down, I think that affects his confidence more than brings him up. Like I mean, his like I
I don't
think
think he's that kind of guy. I feel like it'd be more chip on his shoulder. He'd go and tear it up and be called up and be like,
I don't know. I mean, you got to remember, like 21 years old. I think that would be part of it, but you still can't help feel it a little bit down, like in there somewhere, being like, "Fuck!" Like I just did this great spring training and I'm down in the minors when I was promised a shot.
yeah.
So I guess we can end off with this. As it stands today, what do you guys see as the Yankees opening day infield, outfield, and bench as a 4-man bench on today, March 19th? So if you like, I'll go first, right? So from right to left in the outfield, I see Judge and right. I think center is a little bit in the air because I feel like we don't really have a lot of clarification on that yet. My gut tells me Hicks in center and then Cabrera in left, I think. And then I have Rizzo at first. I have DJ at second. I have Volpe at short, and I have Donaldson at third with Stanton DHing and Trevino catching. And
So
then
you have
on
no Glaber?
no, I have Glaber on the bench. I have IKF on the bench. I have I guess they need an outfielder, right?
Hicks.
No, I had Hicks in center.
Oh, you did. Fuck yeah.
Who am I missing? I'm missing 2 guys.
Willie Calhoun.
Higashioka.
Yeah, or
Willie
Calhoun.
Calhoun.
Yeah. Did I say IKF?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. What do you guys think?
And where's Peraza though?
Are you asking? This is a
Is
prediction.
Peraza in the
not a-
minors?
Not necessarily a prediction, just like a gut feeling right now because
Chase
predictions.
in the minors with that.
I guess not. I
So
guess
then-
Praz would have to be up, and I would say I would think they trade or get
Okay.
rid of Kiner Falefa at some capacity by that point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd probably have. I think Judge and Wright. I think they go Oswaldo in center, Hickson left. Then I think they go DJ. This is from left to right. DJ, Volpe.
Oh, so you have
Glaber.
DJ at third.
I do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
DJ, Volpe, Glaber, Rizzo, Trevino, Peraza's on the bench, Higgy's on the bench, Willie Calhoun's on the bench, and Donaldson's on the bench.
I have exactly what Bryan has because I think they don't want Hicks in center. I think they're gonna make Hicks their left fielder.
He can't even play left. Like
Yeah,
you can't put him in center.
and I think they want to go with electric in center, put Cabrera in there. That would be awesome. I would love Cabrera in center. Who knows if he's really that good at it, but that would be awesome if he was in center. It'd be
They
great.
have no other choice, so just give it a shot.
They have no
Right?
other choice. But yeah, I don't think there is a spot on the team. Like if Volpe is up, I don't think there's a spot for Isaiah Kiner because they don't want to send Peraza back down because they already brought him up. I also feel terrible Peraza being in a bench role, being relegated to a bench role. That sucks. But I think they would kind of more. I think they might try to platoon and rotate Peraza in with shortstop. Like maybe they'll platoon shortstop a little bit. Maybe use April to get him at bats. Maybe see what they have in Glaber, Donaldson. Maybe they could find him an extra role. But yeah, I have exactly what Bryan has. I think with the spring Donaldson's having, I don't think they could bench Glaber because we know what that does to his psyche. I don't think they're gonna bench Glaber, and really he hasn't done anything to be benched. Like hasn't like, besides August last year, which we love to bring up. He had a good enough season last year where he hasn't been in spring, so he had a good enough season to not be benched. So I don't think they'll bench Glaber. I think he is the second baseman, and I think DJ has to be in the opening day lineup, and he's not going to DH unless
they put Stanton in right and Judge in
unless
center.
they put Stanton in right, Judge in left. I
can't see Judge in left opening day. I can't.
Yeah,
I would think they would put. Danny, we've been saying for a couple weeks now, like I can't see Judge in center this year. At least like for like as many reps as he had last year. I can't see them opening the season with Judge in center. Sorry, not center, left field. I meant to say left field.
Yeah.
I'd rather them. I think they're more comfortable putting him in center than they are left.
Yeah,
But
I don't think they want to put him in center either.
yeah, that remains to be seen. We will have, I guess, next week is our last episode before opening day,
yes.
right?
And hopefully we'll know who the shortstop is at that point. I mean, that's like the 26th next Sunday that we play Toronto, and then after that we have 2 spring training games left. So hopefully we'll know who the shortstop is.
Yeah, we can have like official predictions by then too.
I did just check on the new Rookie of the Year odds. Volpe has not moved, still plus 1,000. Somehow
Should I get on that?
Masataka Yoshida still is plus 400.
400? Come on now. Zips. Someone is projecting him to have like a 380 on base percentage. Which
Is Gunnar Henderson on there?
Yeah, he's the favorite.
Oh, he's the favorite. Okay.
Should I get on Volpe? Rookie of the Year now? I have too much. I put too much on Peraza. I put too much on Peraza.
I think it's a little risky. Anyways, hopefully next week we can have some predictions. Hopefully next week we have a special guest. So stay tuned for that. As I've been saying the last what feels like a month, so stay tuned for that. I've got everything that I wanted to talk about today, unless you guys had anything else on your mind.
I'm good.
So make sure to follow us on Instagram at Spread the News, on Twitter at Official STN Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, I think that's everything. Next week is going to be a fun episode. We've got a lot prepared for that. So assuming whether we have our guest or not, but next week should be fun. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys next week. And this has been Chase.
Bryan.
Danny.
Haircut.
See you guys. Let's go Yankees, baby.
Haircut. Let's go Yankees.